Hello everybody, good morning and welcome back to our session on the key distribution and management. In this session I am going to discuss about the key distribution scenario. What are the various steps that are involved in the key distribution and how the two parties are going to exchange some different keys between the two communicating parties as well as with the KDC, right. So in the previous session we have seen what this KDC stands for. The KDC is nothing but a third party which stands for key distribution center, and this key distribution center is responsible for communicating or sharing the keys between the genuine users. So in this session we will discuss the concept of the key distribution. Of course it can be deployed in a number of ways, but in this session we will be discussing about a scenario where it makes use of the KDC, where this scenario assumes that each user shares a master key with the key distribution center. In the previous session we have seen two types of keys. One is the master key and the second one is the session key. As we have discussed that the session key is for temporary basis, where you will be using it for the practical sessions, right, or where you will be using these keys for secure communication over the communication channel for a particular period of time, which we are calling it as the session. And the master keys last long, and this is used to encrypt the session keys. And we told that the master keys are the keys that are present at the node or device. Every node that is present in the network, they are having a master key, and that master key will be shared by the with the KDC. This is what we are assuming, that every node in the network is having the master key, and that master key is shared to the KDC. And once we have the master key that is shared with the KDC, then we will see how this key distribution is going to happen in a step-by-step manner. This is what I told. The key distribution concept can be deployed in a number of ways. The scenario assumes that each user shares a unique master key with the key distribution center, that is nothing but KDC. And in this, let us assume that there are three parties. The first party is the sender A, and the second party is the sender B, that is this is the receiver B, and the third party, which is nothing but the KDC. With this particular type of setup, let us initially assume that this A and B wants to communicate with each other, and whenever they want to communicate with each other, we know that there should be a logical connection between these two parties. And for secure communication to happen, we require the encryption process, and for encryption we require the keys, and it is very important that the keys are also secured, that the sharing or disbursement of the keys is also secured. So A wishes to establish a logical connection with B, and therefore it requires a key which is called as the session key to protect the information that is passed from A to B. As I told that every node inside the network is having one master key. Let us assume that the master key that is present with the node A is denoted as K subscript A, and the master key that is associated with node B is denoted as K subscript B. Initially, our assumption is that KDC is going to take care of distributing the session keys to the two parties. For this to happen, we assume that the master key of A is securely shared with KDC. Similarly, the master key of B is securely shared with KDC. So, any number of parties that involve in the communication, they should share their master keys only to the KDC. So, every key, every master key will be known to that party and as well as the KDC only. So, KA, which is the master key of node A, is known to the sender, that means is known to itself and to the KDC only. KA is not known to B or C or D, which is present inside the network. Only KA is shared between this party itself and the KDC. Similarly, B also shares its master key KB with the KDC. Once we have this scenario, let us go with the timing diagram to discuss the key distribution scenario. This is the timing diagram. So, we have three parties, as I told that this is the initiator A, we can call it as the sender, and the responder B, which is we are calling it as the receiver. And the third party is the key distribution center, which is called as the KDC. So, there are three actors here: sender, receiver and the key distribution center. And this is called as the timeline. These vertical lines are called as timeline. So, this particular timeline explains what action happens first. By looking at this diagram, the first step that is going to be performed is by the sender A. What A is going to do is, it is going to request the KDC for a session key. So, the first step is the sender, the A has to request the KDC to please transmit one session key so that I can efficiently communicate with B. For this, the request requires three important information to be sent by A to KDC. Why these session keys are required means, we know that these session keys are the temporary keys which are used to protect the logical connection between the two parties. So, here A is going to request this KDC that I am going to have a communication with the node B. So, please provide me one session key. This is the request it is made, and that is made by making use of three parameters. The message that is sent from A to KDC includes three important parameters. One is the ID A. This is nothing but the identification for the node A. This can be a network address also, like IP address, which is appended with the second parameter, which is the identity of B. It is also, what is B? It is nothing but the receiver. So, this is the sender's ID, which is ID A, and ID B is the receiver's ID. And both these IDs are appended with N1. This is the third parameter we have. This N1 is nothing but a nonce. We have come across the terminology nonce in the previous discussions. A non is nothing but a temporary value. It is something similar to that of OTP, one-time passwords, that we receive during the bank transactions. Similarly, in this particular transaction, A is going to send a temporary variable which is used as a nonce. So this N1 can be either a timestamp or it can be a counter also, or else it can be a random number also. Out of these three, out of this timestamp, counter and random number, the random number selection for the nonce is a best choice. Why? Because this selection of random number as the nonce, it will avoid or it will prevent the attack which is called as masquerading. So in order to prevent this attack, this random number is the best choice for the selection of nonce. And what is the use of this nonce? As I told that it will differentiate the requests. For example, the initiator or the sender A is requesting number of requests to KDC. How can they differentiate? How can the KDC differentiate that this is a different request and this is another request? That is done by making use of this N1. So you select a random number. For example, I take the random number as 11. And for the next one, the N1 will vary. It will go with 13. And for the next request, it will go with 25. So by looking at these nonce, the KDC will come to know that these three are different requests. So this is the message that the sender A is going to send to the KDC. The first step. Once the message is received at the KDC, then the KDC has to give the response. And the KDC is going to give the response with the encrypted format. Very important. It is going to do it with the encryption, so that no attacker can get any information from this one. And what is that it is going to encrypt means? You can see here that it is going to encrypt it with KA. It is going to encrypt with KA. What is this KA? I know that this is nothing but the master key of A. Before entering into this discussion, I told that we are assuming that the master keys of each and every node is shared with the KDC. Therefore, KDC knows the master key of A. Similarly, KDC knows the master key of B, and it knows the master key of any node that is present in the network. That master key is going to be used for the encryption of as a response that is given from the KDC to A. By using this master key of A, it is going to encrypt this entire message. See here, you can see here. This entire message is going to encrypt. And that message consists of the first part as KS. KS stands for nothing but session key. And KA stands for master key of A. These are just the notations, you have to keep it in mind. KB stands for the master key of B. See here. So it is going to encrypt the entire message with the master key of A. But what is that message it is going to encrypt is the first parameter is the KS, which stands for the session key. This is what the A wants. In order to establish a secure communication between this A and B, it requires the session key. So KDC is going to send the session key, but it is encrypted. And along with this KS, it also has this IDA, IDB and N1. We can see here that this IDA concatenated with IDB concatenated with N1 is from the request that is sent from A to KDC. What is the need? Why it is sending this one means this is used to enable A to match the response with the appropriate request. So after it is received at A, What A will do is it will decrypt it by making use of the Ka, right? Why? Because it is a symmetric distribution. This is what we are discussing. Symmetric methods should be used. Therefore, the same key should be used. Since Ka is having the master, the KDC is having the master key of A, it is used for encryption, and at the receiving end, the sender or the party A is going to decrypt it with the same key Ka. This is what the symmetric encryption is. And after decryption, the sender A will be getting all this information, Ks followed by IDA followed by IDB and N1. Once the Ks is received here, it will check whether this is the genuine Ks or not by looking at these three parts, IDA, IDB and N1. Since this message has been sent by the sender itself, it will come to know that okay, this is the genuine Ks. Why? Because the KDC has given this IDA, IDB and N1 which is sent by myself, which is sent by me. So this is accepted. So the Ks is accepted. Along with this encryption of this Ks along with the message, it also appends this another part which is encrypted part of Ks concatenated with IDA with KB. What is this KB? It is nothing but master key of B. The KDC which is going to give a response to A is having two parts. The first part, this one is related to A, and the second part from here to here, the encrypted part of Ks concatenated with IDA with KB is for party B. You can see here that it includes, the encryption includes the second part which is for B, which is intended for B, is having the session key along with the ID of A and these two items are encrypted with the master key of B. Why this is required? Why the KDC is sending to A means this is required when A wants to send some information to B. By looking at this information, the receiver, listen carefully, this particular message is for receiver B. So it has to be sent by the A to B. It has to be sent by sender to the receiver. By looking at this information, it will come to know about three things: KB, Ks and IDA. This is what it is intended for the B. This part is sent to B. See here the third one. So once this entire message is received, one part is intended for sender A and one part is intended for receiver B. What A will do is A will store the session key. It will store the session key in its storage for the upcoming sessions. So whatever communication it wants to do it with B, it is going to make use of that particular session. And as a third step, what it will do is after storing the session key, it is going to send the second part of the message that is received from KDC to B. That is nothing but E of, E means encryption. It is going to encrypt the Ks concatenated with IDA with the master key of B. Why this information is required, why the KDC is going to send it to A and why A is again sending it to B means it is used to protect it from the attacks. It is going to protect it from the active attacks as well as the passive attacks. How? For example, when it is received, it has to decrypt with the same public key, right? So KB has to be used, and this KB, as you know that it is the master key of B which is known to B and KDC only. So this is what the public key encryption is. So KB, by looking at KB, it will come to know that, oh, this is the message that is sent by the KDC. Why? Because only KDC and myself are knowing the master keys. So whatever I receive which is encrypted with KB, so that is a genuine message that is generated from the KDC. This is what it is going to get it from KB. And once it goes to this KS, which is nothing but the session key. So what B will do is, it will come to know that, okay, the session key KS is received by me from A. Therefore, this is the session key that is generated from the KDC, and it is from the other party A, which is denoted or which is identified by this parameter ID A. So these three important information that B will get before transmitting the actual message. So these three steps, these are the key distribution steps 1, 2 and 3. These three steps are required before actually transmitting the original message from sender to the receiver. The third step is very important. Why? Because it is the direct message that is sent from the KDC to A, and A will be just replaying it to B, or it is retransmitting it to B. By this, the B will come to know that the KB is used for the encryption. Therefore, this is a genuine message that is sent or generated from the KDC. It can accept it. And KS is, as we know that, okay, the session key for the entire session that I am going to communicate with the party A, which is identified by this ID A, is KS. That is what it will know. Right. Up to this particular three steps, the session key has been securely delivered to A and B. Listen carefully. So we have three parties, A, B and KDC. A will be initiating, KDC will be sending the response, and from that response A will transmit a part of the message received from the KDC. This is third step. From this step, it will come to know that the session key has been securely delivered to A and B. It is not going to send it separately here to B. This is not required. Whatever it wants to send, whatever session key the KDC wants to send to B, it is done through the A. This is done via A, like this. And after the key distribution is successful, that means both the parties are having the session key. Now the process of actual communication of information between the two parties can happen. So that requires two additional steps, that is the step 4 and step 5. Once the KS is received at B, you can see here that B is responding to A with the N2, which is nothing but nonce one-time password, which is encrypted with the session key. KS is session key. So with the use of the newly created or newly known session key, B sends a nonce N2 to A by encrypting with the session key KS. Once it is received at the receiver end, that means the A is receiving it, what A can do is it can make use of KS to encrypt the F of N2. So N2 is the nonce that is sent from B to A. And what is this F of N2 means? It is nothing but a simple mathematical function that is operated on N2. You just make some modifications, that's it. That means you just increment it, or you just transform it to some other value. Like that you can make use of this F, any F you can use, but you are just modifying the nonce value that is sent from B to A. So A is going to respond it with F of N2, where f is a function that can perform any type of transformation on N2, and that is encrypted with Ks, that is the session key. So, once you receive, the B receives this particular message, the f of N2 with Ks from A, this ensures that the original message is received from A only. What is the original message? This one, Ks. Okay, I have received the Ks from A only. Nothing, no other party has sent me the Ks. This is the information, that assurance is given to the B by this last message. So, the last three steps, where this one EKB of Ks concatenated with IDA, and encryption of N2 based on Ks, and encryption of f of N2 based on Ks, these three steps represent the authentication. Authentication means whether you are receiving the correct message from the correct user or not. That is what is authentication. So, the first three steps includes the key distribution steps. The third, fourth and fifth, they are used for authentication of the entire communication scenario. So, this is all about the key distribution scenario that happens in the symmetric key crypto system. Let us have a quick recap. We have started our discussion of this key distribution scenario by discussing what are the various keys we have, the master key and the session key, and then what is this KDC, how it is going to make use of this KDC, and the prerequisite for this key distribution scenario is we take two parties A and B. Every party is having their own master keys KA, KB, etc., and that master key is going to be shared with the key distribution center. Therefore, the master key is known to the party itself and the key distribution center only. Once we have these master keys with the KDC, the first step is going to be initiated by the sender, which is the message is sent from the sender A to the KDC with the identification of A, identification of B, and one nonce which is called as the OTP. And once it is received at the KDC will respond it with the session key appended with the original message which is sent by A, and that is encrypted with KA, which is nothing but the master key of A, and that includes the response from KDC to A also includes another message which is intended for exclusively for B. That is, it consists of KS appended with IDA and encrypted with KB. The entire message, the message part, the part of the message that is intended for party B is sent as it is to the party B from A. By looking at this, the party B will come to know, okay, KS is received and this is the session key is for establishing a secure communication channel with the IDA, and since KB, the entire message is encrypted with KB, which is known to me and the KDC. The KDC has sent this KS. This is the conclusion the B will get. Once the conclusion is done, the B will send the nonce. This is just for authentication purpose. It will send a random number N2 by encrypting it KS. And this can be decrypted here by making use of the KS only. So, once it is decrypted, it will make some modifications with the for the nonce by making use of one function like f of N2, and that will be again encrypted with the session key and it is sent to B. Once it is received at B, the B is fully confident that okay, I have received the session key from the KDC from this third message. Okay, I have received the message from the party A. Why? Because the KS is known to only KDC, A and B, and once it is received, it can decrypt it with the KS, and once it knows the f of N2, it will get full confidence that the message has been received from the genuine user, which is nothing but A. This is the key distribution scenario. As I told that the first 3 steps are used for the key distribution, and the third, fourth, fifth and steps are used for the authentication purpose. So that's all for today's session. Thank you one and all for joining the session.